Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm bringing you a couple of Pokemon Wi-Fi battles. Me and my buddy Luke have been talking a long time about getting a little game on, and I thought today I'd narrate a couple of those battles. We did them earlier, but I don't want you to go in dry. So this is the team that I'm bringing today. There's a couple of changes that happened between the first and second battles, but we'll go ahead and just take a quick look. First, I'm bringing a Rotom Heat. This team is super old school. It's about 3 months old from where it would have primed in the meta, but with Luke, we kind of agreed to do a kind of battle like this. So Rotom Heat, Choice Scarf, Overheat, Volt Switch, Trick, Thunder Wave, kind of some speed control. The rest of my team doesn't really have any priority, so I'm a Choice Scarf user. Pretty strong. Trick is kind of there just to hamper maybe like something tanky, and then come in with one white sweepers for a bit of a kill. My special defensive wall is going to be Ferrothorn, very standard set. Spikes, Leech Seed, Power Whip knockoff. Leftovers, special defensive. Set up some spikes for the team. What I should have done is, after the first battle when we started to make changes, I should have turned this into Stealth Rock because of the team that I was against. But, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Third up was Excadrill. I thought Tanky with the ability to dance up would probably be pretty strong, so leftovers, Tanky. I say Tanky, he has leftovers, that's it. Earthquake, Rapid Spin, Iron Head to go along with the Swords Dance. Super value because if you do get the spin off, you do get that +1 speed, so you do outspeed some things, which is pretty nice, if you ask me. Now this was the issue for me in the game 1, as you'll see coming up. I have a Hawlucha, White Herb, High Jump Kick, Sky Attack, Swords Dance Substitute. Now what I should have done, this wasn't originally the set. This was Brave Bird first. But I had the Power Herb on it, which is actually what it needs. It had the White Herb, but it had Brave Bird and High Jump Kick, and you couldn't get the item to drop, causing the Unburden to work. So I kind of really screwed myself there. But as you can see, High Jump Kick, Sky Attack, Swords Dance, Sub. Game plan with this guy was to pop off a Sky Attack, Dynamax, and then use these two in combination with each other in order to get boosts. You won't see any of that because just didn't really have a good opportunity to get enough boosts to make it work. But physically defensive wall is going to be Toxapex. This fat fuckhead, Regenerator and Black Sludge. Scald, Haze, Recover, Toxic, kind of stop anybody who wants to set up Sweep. Toxic's there instead of T-Spikes because I just wanted it to be easier to guarantee that I get a Toxic off when I needed it. And then last but not least, Clefable. Originally this was Flamethrower. It was Moonblast, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Moonlight, Life Orb, Magic Guard, so that it was just a 3 attack, do some damage, kind of have some fun. But I changed it to Calm Mind in the second game because there were a lot of special threats, and I figured if I could maybe make some space and get some Calm Minds up, I'd be able to get some damage off. But that's the team, and we're gonna go ahead and get into game 1 right now. All right, so the first battle comes out. So the title screen that you saw had both team previews, except that in the first battle he didn't have his Duraludon or his Duskull, or he swapped the Duraludon for the Dusclops, and he swapped the last Pokemon for a Rhyperior. I don't remember what it was originally, or what it ended up being. So I lead with Excadrill because he's got a lot of fire. I just feel like maybe I can get a catch on him with like doing some damage early on. But he brings out the Dusclops and sets up the Trick Room. So I think, what do I have to take a Wisp? Because that's what I imagine that he has. He did tell me this was a doubles team mostly, so I should have thought a little bit more about what doubles Dusclops might run. But I go into my Rotom Heat because I'm expecting a Wisp, and he just Nightshades me, does enough that it's a 4-hit KO. I'm Scarfed, so I'm trying to decide what I want to click. Do I want to trick him my Choice Scarf, because it's a Dusclops, or do I want a Thunder Wave? I end up clicking Thunder Wave here, because if I can get some paralysis going on, that'd be pretty big. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Trick Room up, so now nothing I have is going to not outspeed. I forget that I'm Scarfed, and try to click Volt Switch. So I know I have to just manually switch out because I don't want to take any more damage because I can't click Thunderwave again. So I go into Clefable, who's my tankiest, not wall. This is my tankiest damage dealer. But I'm looking at my moves and I'm like, well, what can I go for? I think I take a look at his team. Okay. And I think I click, okay, Moonblast. Classic Moonblast. Just gotta, this is my strongest move. So I dodge this hit thanks to paralysis. I get a Moonblast off. Does a good chunk, but you know, not enough. He loses his Trick Room though. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can click Moonblast again. And maybe come close to taking him out. He's praying to not get paralyzed because he gets the pain split off, and that's a lot of damage split between us. I just click Moonlight again. I probably could have gone for 2 Moonblasts here and taken out his Dusclops, but you know, I really didn't want to risk, you know, losing Clefable. But now he just gets another Trick Room up, so this is unfortunate. So I'm like trying to decide if you know, going for more damage here is good. Click Moonblast again. I feel like this was the point where I thought he might switch out. He doesn't have anything that really resists the fairy that he would want to go into. And he ends up going into the Rhyperior here. This thing's going to take a good chunk. But I decide that I don't want to stay in and risk him beating me up thanks to his leftovers. He's got the Trick Room up. He's definitely slower. So I think, let's go to my Ferrothorn. It can definitely take a rock move or a ground move. Whatever this Rhyperior really wants to deal with. So I go ahead and do that, bring out the Ferrothorn, maybe I could set some hazards up, do a little bit. He ends up getting the 5 roll on the Rock Blast, which obviously isn't ideal for the cause, but you know, we take what we can get. If that's the luckiest he'll get, then I'm happy. Our leftovers both go off, so I'm thinking that I can just set up a Leech Seed and just sit in here and just let Rhyperior wear himself down. I'll go ahead and get some hazards up. We were in a call during this battle, I'm sure I mentioned, but he said that he should have Swords Dance, and he really wanted to Swords Dance because this thing could have ended up doing a lot of damage to me. But fortunately, you know, that Leech Seed recovery on my part keeps him exactly where he was before. I click Spikes because I just want to get some hazards up, and it's basically free because all he has to do right now is either Earthquake or start setting up himself. But since Trick Room's up, I know that I'm going to be able to outspeed him with something else later on, so I can go into something and just take care of it from there. He does a good chunk with EQ. So I decide right now to go for a knockoff because I know that he has those leftovers, and I personally don't want to deal with this dude staying as strong as he is. I wish this screen showed a little bit more information about what both teams had, like HP wise. Considered going for Power Whip, but I figured his defense is probably way too strong, not going to be able to do much. I actually think this is a speed tie, because he outspeeds me every now and again, and I outspeed him every now and again. Unless Trick Room just ended and I'm crazy, because it's kind of a struggle to make sure that I'm filling all the time with stuff and also paying attention. I click Spikes again. At this point, I'm almost thinking Ferrothorn's useless. He's got a Charizard and a Torkoal. I guess this would have been good for Venusaur, which I did consider holding on to it. But once I took that Earthquake, I knew that there wasn't much I was going to be able to do. I get some decent regen, but I know that I'm going down. I click Spikes again in case he wants to get greedy. Not that he should, because he has a Leech Seed on it, but you know, just to get that third setup would have been nice. But he goes in and kills off my Ferrothorn. I think about what I should go into, and I end up deciding on, I want to say it was Clefable. And I did that because I figure nothing he brings out really threatens Clef outside of Venusaur. And I can get, I've got, you know, 3 good coverage moves, so whatever he goes into, there's a good chance that I'll have something for it. So I go ahead and click Flamethrower, because he's so low, I think this has got to kill. And if he wants to switch out and save this, maybe bring in Venusaur to take a Moonblast or a Torkoal or something, it would have been a good play. So now he decides to bring in his Venusaur. And I know that I'm a Clefable, and I know that I'm weak. Oh no, this is... Alright, sorry, never mind. That's a little later on in the battle. He wants to get his Sun up, so he goes into Torkoal. I think this is where I continue to keep attacking. Oh no, do I want to switch? I'm trying to decide when is the best time to bring out Hawlucha. Hawlucha doesn't have the right moves or the right item to make Unburden work, so that's tough. I tag out into Rotom because he's the most expendable, I feel, is what I'm thinking. I didn't want to lose him, but, you know, he has the rocks up. I haven't had a chance to get Drill in, and I definitely can't get Drill in against a Torkoal. So I just click Trick, try to do something with Rotom, make something happen. And this is where Luke's going to make a switch. He's going to go into his Charizard. Now, we're playing Dynamax rules. So this is OU plus Dynamax. So I go ahead and trick him. He gets a Choice Scarf, and I get a weakness policy. So I see that he has a weakness policy, and that's really important for the future. Because I do forget about that, and I screw myself over. But I'm going to be asleep, and I'm thinking I could probably save this guy. Maybe I can go into somebody to take a hit or two. And Clefable's my choice. Probably not the best because Clefable does tank a lot of stuff. But I guess he doesn't have, you know, Calm Mind to beat the Torkoal or the Charizard. And he has a Venusaur. Weird double switch on his, or weird switch on his part, I thought. Because if I had just clicked Overheat, which obviously I wouldn't have, that'd be crazy. I stay in expecting to live one Sludge Bomb, but I just die. And that was big. I figured Clef would be defensive enough. Unfortunately, no. There's no way that happens. So I'm panicking now. I'm kind of burning time, a lot of daylight. And I think now is probably as good a time as any to go into my Hawlucha. Now, I'm not going to be able to get the Unburden boost. But I at least can get speed boosts off of Brave Bird. And I can get attack boosts off of High Jump Kick. Is where I'm thinking. Alright, I'm literally being a dickhead right now. Just scrolling back and forth, back and forth. But I do know that this is my only play at this point. I have no other way to kill the Venusaur. And if I bring out Hawlucha, I need to commit to taking somebody down. So I end up clicking Max Airstream. The Dynamax goes off. And as expected, this is a Hawlucha. It does a ton of damage. I wish we weren't talking through all this. I wish I could have turned our voices down because it would have been good to have the audio saved for this. But you're just going to be hearing background music for this anyway. So a big beam comes out. Obviously, I get the speed boost because that's what Max Flying does. He dies. Sunlight goes away. Okay, so I'm thinking this could be all right. If I could find a way to get Charizard out or keep Torkoal away, that'd be good. Okay, so he brings out Mimikyu. Mimikyu is a cancer to the cause of Dynamaxing because it guarantees one hit that it can take no matter what. It'll always be able to take one and live because it has Disguise. So he chooses to go for a dance right now. So he's going to be strong. Fortunately, I have speed on it. I'm at +2 speed. I can always click Airstream again because I can't get Max Knuckle as much as I want to get the attack boost. I have to outspeed. So he goes for a Shadow Sneak just to get some damage on me. Does a little bit. I get my Airstream off. Boom. Okay, that's a Mimikyu down. So I've taken down a couple of guys, but I know that it's just I'm in a tough spot. Because I don't know what I'm going to be doing against the Charizard or the Torkoal, okay? I still have Driller in the back, but I know that he's not going to be able to hit that Charizard for much at all. Earthquake and Iron Head. So I'd have to outspeed. But I gave it a Choice Scarf earlier, and I forget about that also. And that ends up making it so that I'm forgetful about it, so I'm not ready for it when it comes out. But he goes into his Dusclops, and I'm banking on a Para. I don't know why. I'm hoping that the sub goes up and then he decides to get out. But he doesn't get parried. He breaks the sub, and I have to go for a Brave Bird to kill him. Obviously, it would have killed me anyway. Maybe it wouldn't have because I know Dusclops has really bad HP. So maybe I could have... Never mind, I didn't even kill him. So I never would have been able to kill him with Brave Bird. Hawlucha was always going to die there. So that was one waste of a turn. I guess I get an extra Nightshade out. But I decided to go into my Excadrill. make sure that I get this thing dead. Pretty sure I could just click Earthquake or Iron Head and just take care of that. Can't spin because he's a ghost. And no, you know what? I do go for a Swords Dance because I think I need to ensure that I can do some kind of damage. He only has his Torkoal and his Charizard left. I have a Sleeping Rotom and I have a Toxapex left. And I know that this Dusclops can't kill me. So I go for a Swords Dance. Just to get as much boost as I can. He goes for a Pain Split, takes about half my HP. Gives him a lot back. But leftovers mean I'm going to regen a little bit more. I think I click another Dance here. And I'm just thinking I need to be able to hit Iron Heads. This is where I make my mistake. I forget that Charizard is Scarf now. So I'm thinking if I can outspeed and click Iron Head, maybe I can get a couple flinches. At this point, it looks like Hacks is maybe my only way to play. He goes for a Nightshade, and I take that, real nicely. And I'm like, okay, it's time. I gotta start clicking damage. So I go for Earthquake. He goes for Ally Switch only to see what it does. He knew he was gonna die that turn. I told him I was going for it. He just wanted to see if it does anything in singles, because it's a doubles mon. Surely if he knew that, that would have Will-O-Wisp, and maybe my play earlier would have made some sense. Switching from Excadrill into Rotom. But I get the kill. And Luke goes ahead and sends out Torkoal. I think this thing's going to die to an Earthquake. No doubt. No doubt at all. So I click it. He's going to, I think, die. I don't remember him living because I would have probably died too. But then this is the timer that comes onto the screen. It says time until the battle ends. Okay, so this is the issue with this, with Sword and Shield singles online, is that you have a 20-minute game timer. So because of that, the game's gonna end. So I can just timer stall. I don't have to click anything here, and I'll end up winning because I have 3 Pokemon left and he only has 1. I don't like that as like a mechanic. So we kind of talked about what we had left. He goes ahead and G-Maxes his Charizard and just obliterates my Excadrill from the face of the planet. And that's gonna leave me with just he goes for Overgrowth in case I went into one of my other, or went into my water type, my Toxapex. And Excadrill goes down pretty easy. That's all my damage, basically. I would have to somehow live with Toxapex for about 38 years in order for this Charizard to go down, because I could, burn him out with Solar Power, and I have Toxic on this. I think I click Recover because I just want to make sure, I want to see if I can take the damage. But then it just ends, and it says that I won the battle. We did a little bit of theorizing about what actually would happen, and we concluded that Luke would have won that battle because of Solar Power plus Max Airstream, which he clicked. He was going to get the kill with onto the Toxapex, and then he was going to kill the Rotom because it was asleep. So I gave that one to him. I considered that one his win. But that's okay, because that gave me an idea of what he had. We both left the battle and made some changes. He added the Duraludon and the Toxapex to his team over the Rhyperior and the Dusclops. But what I should have done is I should have put Stealth Rock on my Ferrothorn. I should have gotten rid of Spikes, because as good as Spikes are, one turn for Stealth Rock destroys his core, being Torkoal and Charizard. Surely Torkoal has Spin, so it does matter. But he leads with Torkoal again. I lead with the Rotom. And I'm thinking, I don't like what I'm looking at. So I go for Trick or Volt Switch. I think I Volt Switch, so I can tag out. This is basically one of my only good leads, because it has Volt Switch, it has Trick, it has 2-Wave too. But I go into Toxapex. Okay, good. As he goes for the Yawn. So he's going to put that status on me. I don't want to go to sleep with Toxapex. So I decided to just tag right back out into Rotom. Because I don't want to go to sleep. I don't think he's going to go for an attack, but if he does, Rotom also resists it. And he does just get up his rocks. Pretty annoying. Good thing I got Rotom in a little bit before that. But now, once again, this is a game that I'm going to have to go into Drill and Spin in order to bring out really any of my guys. But I click Trick here. I just want to give him a Choice Scarf. I don't really care what he has. He has a Scope Lens. Luke said that was a big doubles item for him. Very valuable. So I I don't really question it. Good for whatever. But definitely not ideal in the singles game. Surely he would be doing a little bit better if he had, better mons. He hard switches in a Venusaur while I click Volt Switch, so that's going to give me a little bit of an advantage on who I tag out from. And I go into, I want to say it's Toxapex. No, I go into Ferrothorn, and I make a misclick here. It actually helps me in the long run because Ferrothorn comes in with the rocks, gets his leftovers, and I just want to look at my Pokemon. I want to see the stats of my Rotom, but I accidentally just click swap. Now this ends up being a very good play. I was telling Luke that I made a mistake, and he said, no, you should be pretty happy, because he ends up going for Weather Ball. Now Weather Ball in the Sun, base 100 fire type move, Ferrothorn would have died. But Rotom takes a little bit of damage, but he's alive. That's what's important. So I think this is insane. So I'm thinking, let's get a little cheesy. Let's click Thunder Wave. I could click Overheat. I don't want him getting a free switch into maybe Torkoal again, just to get the sun up. He goes for Earth Power, forgetting that Rotom has Levitate, I'm sure. Couple of misplays on his part. Neither of us are particularly good, but we just like to have a little bit of fun. I click Thunder Wave again because I think there's no way he's going to stay in. And maybe this might be one of the better predictions I made. No way he's going to stay in on this guy. I thought Overheat maybe, but he's not going to stay in, so he's going to tag out. So I get the Paralysis on Torkoal as well. So that's going to be valuable. I Volt Switch out again. At this point, I'm not playing games. Rotom is just going to keep coming in on Stealth Rocks if I have to. But he's a really good pivot. And he's going to give me a lot of good opportunities to, get some paralysis and, just do some work. So I'm scrolling through, trying to figure out what I want. I decide to go into Toxapex. I really do not remember this part of the battle. He yawns again. I could stay in and just take it. But I feel like I decide to tag back out. And this time maybe make a riskier play. And I go into Excadrill. Because I know that I can Earthquake. There's no way he's going to go for a fire move. So that's a good hard switch. I'm banking on him getting paralyzed. Good. Great. Love that. I feel like I make a bad play here and go for the Rapid Spin when I could just go for the kill. But I do really need to get rid of these rocks. Once again, kind of banking on hacks. And wouldn't you know, I get another paralysis. So that's huge for me. Rocks are gone. And I have the advantage on the Torkoal. Venusaur is also paralyzed. This is great for me. He doesn't have his Trick Room setters anymore. Setter, being Dusclops. So being slow on his team is not as good as it was last game. And even better, the sunlight fades away as I kill the Torkoal. So that might be the most valuable part of the entire battle. And I'm loving what's going on. So he brings out his Toxapex. And I don't know what this guy thinks he's going to do to me. I could probably just click a move and do damage. And I decide to just go for the Earthquake. It is super effective, so, it'll be a valuable amount of damage. He goes for Toxic, expecting me to do anything else. Ow, you know what? No, I think that was a misclick on his part. So my misclick worked out pretty alright for me, but his misclick really didn't do much. Scald could have burned. That's about a 100% chance of burn. He couldn't haze because I didn't set up a dance. I thought about it, but so that was a really big mistake on his part. That misclick hurt really badly. But I'm gonna get an Earthquake off, get the Toxapex down. So at this point, he's got a paralyzed Venusaur, he's got a Duraludon, he's got a Mimikyu, and he's got his Charizard. He decides to go right into the Zard right now, which is probably his best play because he still has his G-Max, and that thing I don't have any rock moves for. And it's not going to be easy. I should have gotten Stealth Rocks. Oh no, he goes into Venusaur. Part of me thinks I just stay in and keep clicking moves. Because I feel like at this point, Excadrill has done his job. And has gotten what he needed to. But I think I could just Iron Head and use the Paralysis and the Flinch chance just to burn this Venusaur down. Which does go through on the first hit. And I believe kills him on the second. Thank goodness. So Excadrill's done pretty much everything he could. So at this point, Excadrill is mostly just a body to do a little bit of damage, maybe die. Since I know that I can't switch into moves very well, and he's done his job. I take a look at my team to see if there's anything I can go into on this Charizard, but I know that he's going to G-Max, he's going to drop Fire, or he's going to drop Grass. And I don't really want to try to predict that. I'd rather just take the move, start burning him out of his Dynamax turns. Unfortunately, that doesn't really bode well for me because this dude he's strong, and he's G-Max, so he's going to have way stronger moves than mine. I don't think my tanks are really going to be able to survive much. Because Excadrill does get an Iron Head off, does a little bit of damage, but he's going to die to the G-Max Wildfire. G-Max Wildfire has the secondary effect where it has like a permanent, or not a permanent, Fire Spin effect, but it has a Fire Spin effect. So at this point I'm like, okay, I can probably just sack my Rotom. It's either Rotom or Toxapex that I go into here. What we should have done is I should have gone into my Toxapex to see if he would have killed me with Airstream. But I make the misplay here of going for a Volt Switch. I should have absolutely gone for a T-Wave, because I'm almost certain you can paralyze G-Max Pokemon. But he Airstreams me, and I live, and I'm thinking, great, I'm in an awesome spot. He gets the speed boost, but that's fine. I use my electric move, and it gives him the weakness policy boost. I totally forgot that he had the weakness policy, and that was awful. That's awful for me. So I'm thinking, what do I have? I can't tank a hit with Ferrothorn. I know I can't tank a hit with Toxapex, especially now that he's at +2 on his Charizard. Hawlucha's not going to outspeed because he just got the boost. So I go into Clefable, and I think my only play here is to counter D-Max. I am Magic Guard, so I don't take damage from his Fire Spin or his Rocks, which is good. And I just have to counter his Dynamax with one of my own and go for the Thunderbolt. So I get that max off, and he goes for the Wildfire because that's just his strongest move. Big fire move plus damage. I get my Max Lightning off, and I do end up getting the kill on him. That's huge. This was like the one threat that I thought was going to be left. At least that nobody on my team could take care of. He still has Mimikyu, still has Duraludon in the back, but I don't find those guys to be as threatening as that Charizard, especially at +2 special attack with the +1 speed. I'm super lucky that I got to deal with that. He decides to go into his Mimikyu, which is, once again, the D-Max stopper, because I can't do anything to break the disguise twice in an attack. But he goes for Swords Dance. Last time he went for Shadow Claw, even though we thought Play Rough was stronger. Maybe this is the time he goes for Shadow. You know what? He went for Sneak in the first game. This is the game where he goes for Shadow Claw here. I'm just trying to get some damage off. I used Max Lightning there so that I wouldn't set up the Misty Terrain for his Fairy type attacks to do more. Since I know that I'm pretty sure Mimikyu dies here. Like, this is going to be an insanely strong attack. Life Orb boosted from a Clefable. So I'm thinking Mimikyu's shield is down. I can go for Starfall now and not have to worry about the Play Rough later. This is the game where he goes for the Shadow Claw. I think a Play Rough would have killed me there, which would have been awful. I want to say that's like a 20 base power difference. That probably would have killed me, and that could have swung this game pretty hard. But that's, just another misplay on Luke's part. He mentioned it himself that he figured that would have come back to bite him. But at least now my Dynamax ends, so Mimikyu mostly did its job of slowing me down. I don't have any great moves to hit him, but I do have Stab, Moonblast. He outspeeds me, though, which kind of sucked. That Moonblast would have been nice to get off, especially in the Misty Terrain. But I do have Hawlucha, I have Rotom. I do have a lot of threats still. So I go into my Rotom, and I just decide to click Overheat, just get some damage off. Could have clicked Thunder Wave, and probably would have been a good idea. Looking back, because at least Thunder Wave, I could help try to force Hawlucha to be in a better spot. And my tanks would have had a better time dealing with him, I think, since I couldn't poison him with Toxapex. But I do end up getting a little bit of damage off with the Overheat. I go into Hawlucha. I'm trying to decide if, one of my tanks are better to go into. Maybe like obviously not poison, but maybe get a Leech Seed off. Or just try to stall him out. But I just decide go into Hawlucha. And we're just going to click HJK. And this high jump kick is going to wipe out this Duraludon pretty easily. Luke knew as soon as he saw a high jump kick on the screen that it was all over. Obviously, I'm going to be rerunning that or close combat. So that's game 2. We so far the series is split 1-1. And that brings us to our last battle. We didn't do anything different with our teams this time. We just went back into the battle without making any changes. So he goes ahead and leads Toxapex this time, and I lead Clefable. Now, this was insane, because I know that he's going to try to do something. He can't do anything to me. Like, Scald's not going to do anything. If he goes for Toxic, I have Magic Guard. I know he has Haze, and I know he has Recover. So I just take the Poison, because I know I'm not going to get damaged by it. So that's an easy, quick kill on the Toxapex. This was like the best play I could have had going for me. He's taking his time to think, because he knows that he's in a corner already. He already started this battle in a rough spot. He's gonna lose his Toxapex early on. I don't think the Toxapex really helps him though. I think most of my mons do pretty well against it. Rotom, Excadrill, Ferrothorn doesn't care about him. So probably not the worst thing for him to lose. He goes into his Duraludon, who's gonna take a Thunderbolt. Not a lot of damage. But that's good enough damage for me to have an idea of how much my other moves are going to be doing. Obviously, I tried to use my Moonblast earlier, and that didn't come out because he outsped me. But I'm going to just go straight into my Ferrothorn here. I don't think that this guy learns any fire moves, so I thought this was a safe move. I looked it up even, and I didn't see anything. So I thought, okay, Ferrothorn's out. I can start either setting up hazards, or I can drop a T-Wave on something. Maybe I could just Leech. I think I end up going for Spikes here. I think it sucks that I didn't have Stealth Rock for Charizard. Definitely would have been good. Oh no, I just clicked Knockoff here. I made a good joke here about knocking off that Scope Lens after we talked so long about how useful the crit chance is. But I figure he's going to either Yawn or Stealth Rock again. That's what he's been doing. I mean, I am a Fire type, so he might just go for the Overheat. Which, would make sense. But I'm going to just go into Clefable because I think the Yawn, no matter what, Yawn's not going to be able to do anything. I don't care about Stealth Rock. If he goes for the Fire move, I'll take a Fire move. He goes for the Yawn, so I don't really care about anything he's going to do. Since I have Recovery and Calm Mind, I think let me get a couple of these up. I know an Overheat's not going to do a ton, especially not anymore. And he goes for Stealth Rock. Now, this was the moment where I thought maybe there's a chance for me to do a lot of damage here and set up for Hawlucha later on. So I'm going to go for another Calm Mind. At this point, I'm just trying to make it so that Charizard can't come in and kill me, Venusaur can't kill me with a Sludge Bomb, and Duraludon can't kill me with a Flash Cannon. 2 special defense boosts, pretty good. That's, I want to say that puts me at either 50 or 60, maybe 75% of the damage I would, no, definitely going to be less than that. But having this increased defense is going to be huge. Like, I've doubled the defense I had before. So I think, you know what, let's just commit early. I still have the White Herb on Hawlucha if I want to, or sorry, the Mental Herb, the one that works with Sky Attack, in case I need to get like a late game sweep going on there. So I'm just going to D-Max now and just say, Clefable, let's just do some damage while we can. That does 80 to me, which is actually a lot. Had I not D-Maxed, 80 is like half of my health. So it's pretty good that I did D-Max. I could have gone for another Calm Mind there and recovered again just to, like, keep boosting myself. But, probably better I did what I did. So since I D-Maxed once again, Luke is going to go back into the Mimikyu. Not a lot to say here. That's his go-to play against the Dynamax, as it should be. But this time I'm a little bit stronger. I know I still have to get through the disguise. So once again, I click Max Lightning because he knows this time that he's going to use Play Rough. And I don't want to give that attack any boost. Because I know that Misty Terrain boosts Fairy moves, and that will put me in a worse spot. I just want to make sure. At this point, I'm thinking, play as safe as I can with Clefable. Bank on not getting crit, because obviously getting crit ignores your defense boosts. If I can kill this Mimikyu, he doesn't have any other physical threats. Everything else is going to be a special attacker. So once I break the disguise, I know I can drop this Starfall any day because I'm +2. This is going to do a ton. It does kill. He did a lot to me with the Play Rough. About as much as I was expecting because he is physical. that definitely would have killed me in the last battle. So he could have maybe swung that a little bit sooner in his direction and put me in a worse spot to win that last game. But now that he's down Mimikyu and don't remember and Toxapex, he's got not a lot to go into against my Clefable. Or I guess he's not down as Toxapex. He's about to be down as Toxapex. Thinking a little too far ahead. But I do know that he could just haze me, which is why I don't heal up here. So I just decided to click Thunderbolt. I don't want to lose my boosts. Do some deeps to him, and he's going to go down. Still have the Misty Terrain up, which is nice because that means that I can get a boosted Moonblast on anything. He ends up going into Torkoal, and I think Torkoal cannot do a damn thing to me. He can't put me to sleep. He's not going to use Stealth Rock again. I don't know what his fourth move is, but I know that he has some fire move that I don't care about because it's not going to be like a physical fire move. So I just Moonlight and try to heal up a little bit. The Sunlight fortunately boosts my Moonlight and lets me get back to full. I think instead of it being 50% of my health, it's 66. So huge for my Clefable. This gives me another chance to go for Calm Mind. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, thought that maybe perchance this was going to be the battle, that there is a 6-0 sweep, you would be absolutely right. At this point, nothing is going to stop my Clefable. I'm going to go ahead and just speed this up. So at this point, yeah, Luke's not really going to be able to do anything. I can just keep healing up and going for Calm Mind if I want to get more boosts, but I decide Moonblast this Venusaur down. It'll take 2 hits, so I'm just going to, because I know he outspeeds me, I'm just going to Moonlight up, play it safe. As long as I don't get crit, you know, the game is going to be fine. And he goes for a couple of Sludge Bombs, and they're just not going to do enough. I'm going to get that Moonblast, and I'm going to kill that Venusaur. He's going to go back into his Torkoal, which sets up the Sunlight for me, which I'm happy about because that means I get the ability to heal up again. He goes for another Overheat. It's just not going to do enough without a crit. So I'm just going to Moonlight up and play it safe, and he goes into his Charizard on the Moonlight. So at least he gets in for free, and he's going to click Protect because he's just desperate for something. But that's not going to help him anytime soon. He's just taking stored power hits. But he does have his D-Max, or his G-Max rather, Charizard. But he knows that he's going for Overgrowth just for some kind of damage, and it does nothing. And my Moonblast doesn't kill him, but it does put him in a spot where he's not getting the heal from the grassy terrain. I am. His Airstrike doesn't do anything. I'm going to clean up that Charizard, and then he's going to bring out that Torkoal, and I'm going to kill that too. So an awesome 6-0 to end the series. I win at 2-1. Great game for somebody who hasn't played Pokemon in a while, myself, and a person who only plays doubles, him.